Yo, welcome back everybody to another episode of Muscle Talk. I'm your host, RTM, which stands for Russell the Muscle, and let's get into it. I know I've been missed, I've been on and off sick, and been quite busy at work, so I'm sorry I didn't post the last 2 weeks, but I am back now, and today we are, of course, talking about movies. Today I'm going to discuss the best, my personal favorite movie from every year ever since I was born. Now, before I get into it, keep in mind I love comedies, so most of these are going to be comedies. That's just my favorite genre of movies, so you'll see a pattern here. But so I was born in 1997, so this is gonna be my favorite movie from 1997 through 2021. Of course, I know a lot of you probably realize The Karate Kid came out way before that, but since it is a all-time great, I had to mention it in this video. It came out in 1984, but it is one of my favorite movies of all time. So please, throughout this video, enjoy this beautiful picture of the Karate Kid. I was a little tad bit lazy to change the pictures in this episode, so you're just gonna be looking at the Karate Kid the whole time. But let's get into it. 2022 is this year, so of course none of the movies really came out yet, so I'm just gonna give a prediction. My favorite movie this year is more than likely going to be Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, because it is so hyped up. I'm gonna be hyping up that movie the way I hyped up No Way Home, so get prepared. I'm gonna be talking about it every video until Multiverse of Madness comes out, just like I did in No Way Home. But apparently they're gonna have a lot of cameos in Multiverse Madness, since Toby and Andrew's cameo in No Way Home did so wonderful. And FYI, please don't say spoiler. If you haven't seen No Way Home by now, that is your loss. Just saying, everyone should have seen it by now. But Toby and Andrew's appearances in No Way Home did so great. They're gonna have a lot of cameos in Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness. You can see Ryan Reynolds Deadpool. You can see Hugh Jackman return as Wolverine. You can see Mr. Fantastic, who would be played by Kaminsky. You could see the Human Torch. Chris Evans, who played Captain America for many years, he could return as the Human Torch. You know, with the multiverse theory, you could bring in anybody, another version of Iron Man, another variant, I should say. But my point is, this movie looks and sounds amazing, so I am very excited for it. But let me get into it, because I was born in 1997, so we're going to be talking from 1997 through 2021. Let's start with 1997. So the year 1997, there were some good movies that came out. I mean, Home Alone 3. It's not my favorite of the Home Alone series, but you always got to talk about Home Alone when you're talking about best movies. Beverly Hills Ninja, hilarious movie. Austin Powers, great, funny from beginning to end. Men in Black, of course. All the Men in Black series movies are really, really, really good. But my favorite movie from 1997, a lot of you might hate me for this, because a lot of you might say Men in Black or other movies, or keep in mind this is just a list of movies that I've seen and stuff like that. But Liar Liar with Jim Carrey. Listen, I said from the beginning of this episode, I love comedies. So Liar Liar is hilarious. It's about Jim Carrey. He can't lie, because his son made a wish, wishing that his dad could never tell a lie again. So he actually could not lie, and it was hilarious. Some of the moments that was in the movie, some of the scenes in the movie, some of the dialogue, just overall funny. And I really enjoyed this movie. And I'm not even a huge Jim Carrey fan anymore, personally speaking, but I did love this movie, so I have to note that is my favorite movie from 1997. Now let's move on to 1998. Okay, so there's a lot of good movies that came out in 1998 as well. You got classics like The Wizard of Oz that came out in 1998, or Jack Frost. That's a great movie, a great Christmas movie about the boy whose dad died, and he wished to see his dad again, and his dad turned into a snowman. It is a classic. You got Rush Hour, another another great movie. The Wedding Singer, a great movie by the Adam Sandler. But number one is a Adam Sandler movie as well, The Waterboy. Funny from beginning to end. The dialogue is great. The way his relationship with his mother, fantastic. The storyline, excellent. How he went from just a simple water boy to becoming the star football player. And some of the dialogue from him in school, fantastic. My mama told me that alligators are ornery because they have all them teeth and no toothbrush. It's hilarious. The movie is funny from beginning to end, so it's hard to not say that this is the best movie of 1998, especially if you are a big fan of comedies like me. 1999. Another year with fantastic movies. You got classics like Annie. You got The Fight Club. You got The Matrix, of course. You got Superstar. And 99% of people watching this probably put The Matrix at number one. But I'm not as huge of a Matrix fan as a lot of people. And a lot of people will hate me for that comment, but it's true. So I put The Matrix at number two. I put Big Daddy in number one. Another Adam Sandler classic. Adam Sandler is my favorite actor. So, I mean, what do you expect? And again, comedy. Big Daddy is hilarious. He starts taking care of this little boy, and the little boy becomes like his son, and it's just a cute storyline, but also funny from beginning to end. When he's peeing outside on the wall, or when the teacher's saying that he's the smelly child, or so many great moments in this movie. So overall, 1999 also got an Adam Sandler classic in Big Daddy. Let's move on to 2000. So there was good movies in 2000 as well. I mean, I put Meet the Parents on there. How the Grinch Stole Christmas is a classic Christmas movie. That's the one with Jim Carrey. And then you got Charlie's Angels. I put that on there because the women. Don't judge me, babe. I hope if you're watching this, I apologize. Of course, X-Men. Fantastic. I love superhero movies. You guys know that. So X-Men is up there as well. X-Men is at number two, though, surprisingly. But I mean, who doesn't love X-Men? Hugh Jackman steals the movie with as Wolverine. Yeah, Cyclops and Professor X. The guy who plays Professor X is fantastic. So overall, X-Men, great movie. Not one of the best superhero movies of all time, which is probably why it's not a number one, but it's still a great movie, and that is mostly because I'm biased, and Hugh Jackman's one of my favorite superhero actors of all time. Number two, though. So this one goes to Dude, Where's My Car? Dude, Where's My Car is my favorite movie of 2000. It's hilarious. There's great moments in it, man. They forget how the whole night went. They can't find their car anywhere. They can't find their girl's gifts. It's just a great movie. My favorite moment is when they went to a Chinese restaurant, and the lady at the drive-thru kept going, and then he's like, you say and then one more time, I'm gonna shove my foot up your ass. And then she goes, and then, and he beats the shit out of the box. It's hilarious. No, it's a great movie overall. So I had that number one in 2000, and there's no debating that with me. Again, I love comedies. 2001. You got classics. I mean, my buddy Devon, who was on one of my episodes, would agree Shrek deserves to be up there. Not Shrek is Love, Shrek is Life, just Shrek. Zoolander, The Animal is a funny movie. Rush Hour 2, of course. But I'm gonna go with Jurassic Park. I mean, Jurassic Park is a classic, and if you've watched all these movies in 2001 and you don't have Jurassic Park up there at number one, at least number two, because I could see some people putting Rush Hour 2, but Jurassic Park overall, fantastic movie, and plus, who doesn't like some dinosaurs? Let's move on to 2002. There's a lot of great movies in 2002 as well. A lot of my family would disagree with The Master of Disguise being at number 3. I think that movie's hilarious personally, but I'm always made fun of by my family for liking that movie. A lot of people think it's horrible, but I think it's hilarious. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. All the Harry Potter movies are fantastic. Some of them aren't as high as others because some years better movies came out. 8 Mile, the story of Eminem, great movie overall. Mr. Deeds, another Adam Sandler classic. I love Mr. Deeds. It's a great movie, but I love most Adam Sandler movies with exception to, Jack and Jill and The Cobbler and Spanglish. All right, but let's talk about number 1. Number 1, of course, anyone who knows me knew this was coming. 2002, think about it. Sam Raimi's first Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man 1. Great movie. Tobey Maguire plays Spider-Man. Excellent. Of course, you got William Dafoe's Green Goblin, who is great, who reprised his role in No Way Home, of course. It's just a great overall movie. Great scenes, great actors in it. I really, really, really love this movie. And this is one superhero movie I could watch over and over and over again. So it's not as funny as a lot of superhero movies, but it's still Spider-Man we're talking about. And unless you're talking about Spider-Man 3 or Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man 2, all the other Spider-Man movies are pretty damn good. Let's move on to 2003. You got a lot of good movies in 2003 as well. You got School of Rock with Jack Black. You got Bruce Almighty, of course, with Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey had some good movies back in the day. I just don't like him as a person anymore. That's my opinion. You got Dumb and Dumber with When Harry Met Lloyd. Oh, I love the Dumb and Dumber movies. They're hilarious together. That's Jim Carrey and I always forget his name, but they're great, and those movies overall are always funny. And you got X-Men 2. I love the X-Men movies. What else do you want me to say? This is probably one of the I don't love all the X-Men movies personally. I probably only like a few of them. I did a video on Fox, but this is one of the ones that I really, really, really love. With Nightcrawler, and the movie overall is a great story. Hugh Jackman again as Wolverine. I love Hugh Jackman. What else can I say? The guy who plays Magneto is fantastic too. But number 1, I'm gonna give it to Kangaroo Jack. That movie is hilarious from start to finish. I love it. Their friendship is great. The storyline is great. The dialogue is fantastic. The action scene's fantastic. And it swerves you and swerves you and swerves you. I mean, I really love this movie. Again, it's a great comedy. And to me, 2003 is best movie is Kangaroo Jack. Let's talk about 2004. You guys probably already know what my favorite movie of 2004 is, but let's talk about them. The Incredibles, instant classic, great movie. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. That's actually one of my favorite Harry Potter movies. It is probably my second favorite Harry Potter movie. My first gotta be the last one. The last 2 movies were fantastic. 50 First Dates, another Adam Sandler classic, is up there at number 3. Got White Chicks, funny movie, man. That is a hilarious movie. I love that movie from start to finish. It just makes me die laughing. But number 1 goes to Spider-Man 2, Tobey Maguire's second film. It is a great movie. Dr. Octopus is a great villain. This is actually one of my favorite Spider-Man movies of all time. This is my second favorite Spider-Man movie of all time, officially, after No Way Home, in my opinion. But I love this movie, and it never gets old. This is one movie I can watch over and over again, and I'll always be happy with it. Moving on to 2005. There's some good movies in 2005 as well. You got Batman Begins, you got Hitch, you got The Pacifier, all great movies. Of course, you got The Longest Yard, and Wedding Crashers. Wedding Crashers, this was a toss-up for me. I love Wedding Crashers. It's hilarious with Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson. They're a great team together, man. I mean, they work together great. You also got The Internship with them. They're hilarious. Longest Yard, a great Adam Sandler classic about he gets arrested. He's an ex-football player who got kicked off the team, and he got arrested, but he's in jail, and he forms a group of football players to play against the guards. It's a funny movie, great moments in it. This is probably going to be my friend's favorite movie of that year, but I don't know what to go with between Wedding Crashers and Longest Yard. So at the end of the day, I'm going to just say I saw Wedding Crashers a little more, but I feel like The Longest Yard has a better storyline to it. So I'm going to go with another Adam Sandler classic in The Longest Yard. Now, if The Internship came out in 2005, that would be my favorite movie of 2005, because I think The Internship blows The Longest Yard out of the water. But I'm going to go with The Longest Yard being the best movie of 2005. 2006. There was some great movies in 2006, man. You got Click, you got Night at the Museum, you got Nacho Libre. Anyone who knows me knows that's one of my favorites. Employee of the Month is a funny movie too. But number one will go to one of my dad's personal favorite movies. I'm going to give it to Rocky. Even if I didn't see it as much as a lot of these movies, it's hard to not say that Rocky is one of the best movies of all time. So, that being said, 2006 goes to Rocky Balboa. All right, 2007. Honestly, I put 5 of them on my list for 2007, but none of them to me are like, oh my gosh, God, like really, really amazing. So there was no competition in what number one was. I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry as number one. I also have Game Plan, Superbad, TMNT, and Mr. Bean's Holiday, because I couldn't think of anything else to put for 2007. So I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry, blows them out of the water, hilarious. It's with, of course, 2 of my favorite comedy actors, Kevin James and Adam Sandler. Doesn't get funnier than that. So moving on, 2008. Okay, this one, there's no competition between 3, 4, and 5, but numbers 1 and 2 was a hard choice for me, man. But for the other 3, I have Bedtime Stories. The Forbidden Kingdom with Jackie Chan is a great action movie and story. And Yes Man with Jim Carrey, where he's forced to say yes. Great movie. Bedtime Stories is an Adam Sandler movie where kids start his sister's kids read like these stories, and the stories start coming true. It's an interesting storyline, but it was a toss-up for me between Iron Man 1 and The Dark Knight. But at the end of the day, I ended up putting The Dark Knight up there. Iron Man 1's one of my favorite superhero movies of all time, easily in top 5. The Dark Knight, to me, Iron Man 1 is probably actually in like top 7 for all superhero movies, but it's probably in top 5 for MCU movies. The Dark Knight for me is at number 3. So that's the difference. For me, it's No Way Home, Endgame, Dark Knight. So Dark Knight ended up taking it at the end. I love the movie. Great movie, great moments. Batman is fantastic. Heath Ledger, though, his performance is one of my favorite performances in any superhero movie of all time. So the movie goes to The Dark Knight for the movie of the year. 2009. There's a lot of good ones on here too. Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr. The only other role that Robert Downey Jr. had that is acceptable, okay, other than Iron Man. I Love You Man, great movie with Paul Rudd. Paul Blart Mall Cop, of course, with Kevin James. Fantastic movie, hilarious from start to finish. This one I might get hated on because a lot of you probably have this at number 1. Avatar at number 2. I'm sorry, but I think it's overrated. I think it's a good movie, but I don't think it's like mind-blowing. Sorry. And number 1 goes to The Blind Side. I think it's a great storyline, great emotional story. not really a lot of funny moments in it. So I know a lot of you are probably shocked that I have this in number one because I'm a comedy guy. But overall, it's a great story. It's hard to not put this up there. So I'm going to give it to the number one spot. 2010, you got She's Out of My League, which is a hilarious movie. This one piece of shit I used to talk to actually showed it to me. The Sorcerer's Apprentice, great movie, great moments in it, great action scenes. There's even some humor in it. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1, fantastic movie. I love Harry Potter, and this is one of my favorite ones. I said it earlier, the last ones are the best ones. So yes, great movie. Iron Man 2, of course, is at my number 2 spot. I love Iron Man 2, but personally, if this was Iron Man 1 in 2010, I would put Iron Man 1 at number 1 spot. Unfortunately, it's Iron Man 2, and Iron Man 2 is just nowhere near as good as Iron Man 1. So the number 1 spot goes to another Adam Sandler classic in Grown Ups. Funny movie overall. The cast is excellent. You have Kevin James, Adam Sandler, Chris Rock, I forget the guy's name with the blonde hair. They're hilarious together, and overall the movie is fantastic from start to finish. Funny moments, and a great storyline. So yeah, I love Grown Ups 1. Grown Ups 2 is great too, not nearly as good as Grown Ups 1, but Grown Ups 1 takes 2010. Hopefully they make it Grown Ups 3. 2011, Real Steel with Hugh Jackman. Great movie, great storyline. Captain America: The First Avenger. You can't make the best 2011 movies without the first Avenger. X-Men First Class, one of my personal favorite X-Men movies. It's probably my third favorite X-Men movie after Days of Future Past and X-Men 2. The In-Betweeners, the movie. Fantastic, bro. It's hilarious movie. If you haven't seen it, which a lot of people haven't, watch it. It's a great movie from start to finish. But number 1 goes to Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. The way they ended Harry Potter's movies, great movie. It's my personal favorite Harry Potter movie of all time, and honestly, 2011 didn't give me a lot to deal with other than, a couple great superhero movies. But I'm putting Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 as number 1 in 2011. 2012. If you know me, you know what I have at number 1. But let's start from the bottom. Here Comes the Boom with Kevin James. Fantastic and absolutely hilarious. The Dark Knight Rises. Not to me, a lot of people might have this up higher, but to me, this is nowhere near as good as The Dark Knight with Heath Ledger's Joker. So I have this at number 4 in 2012. But keep in mind, that's also because I love comedies and superhero movies. And wait till you see the next 3. The Watch, hilarious movie, man. With Jonah Hill, Vince Vaughn, Ben Stiller, and I don't know the 4th guy's name, but great movie. Just think about the lineup of the guys in that movie and tell me that doesn't sound like a great movie. If you haven't seen it, watch it. Hilarious. 21 Jump Street, come on. You know Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill are my boys. That's a great and funny movie. 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street, both excellent movies. We'll talk about 22 Jump Street later on. But number 1, The Avengers. Come on. The first team-up movie between the Avengers, Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, Hulk, Hawkeye, Black Widow, done excellent. Tom Hiddleston plays a great Loki. Together, all the actors in one movie, they're fantastic. The movie's hilarious. It's got its funny moments, like Hulk smashing Loki on the floor and saying "puny God," or Hulk punching Thor out. It's overall a great movie. Iron Man saying, "We got a Hulk." Overall, fantastic movie. And I've seen it like 500 times, so it's my number 1 at 2012. Moving on, 2013. Oh, there was a great movies in 2013. You got Delivery Man, you got Man of Steel, you got The Wolverine, Grown Ups 2, of course. Like I said, we were going to talk about in a little bit. I love Grown Ups 2 with Adam Sandler, Kevin James again, Chris Rock once again. You know, the same actors pretty much. Great movie, funny from start to finish. But number one goes to The Internship, which I talked about briefly earlier with Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn. They are the dynamic duo. They're like the Kevin Hart and The Rock. Like the Kevin Hart and The Rock does great in movies together. Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson, fantastic together. They were in Wedding Crashers and they are in The Internship. One of my personal favorite comedies of all time. It's a hilarious movie. If you haven't watched it, please do. 2014. There's a lot of great movies in 2014. This year was one of the hardest years to actually rank. I put at number 5 The Ride Along with Ice Cube and Kevin Hart. Great movie, funny as hell. 22 Jump Street at number 4. Think about it. If that's at number 4, top 3 must be excellent. Top 3 are superhero movies. But 22 Jump Street, hilarious from start to finish. Again, Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum, impress. I'm hoping they have a 23 Jump Street. Captain America the Winter Soldier at number 3. Fantastic movie. One of the best superhero movies ever made, between Captain America and Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier, of course, Bucky Barnes was Captain America's best friend, who was turned into the Winter Soldier. It's a great movie. X-Men Days of Future Past, my personal favorite X-Men movie of all time, and that's at number 2. So what's at number 1, you ask? Guardians of the Galaxy, baby. That is a great movie. The whole cast is great. Chris Pratt plays an excellent Star-Lord. He's hilarious from start to finish. Dave Bautista even shocking the hell out of me. I mean, he was a wrestler. I'm a big wrestling fan. He plays an excellent Drax, man. Vin Diesel, Groot. Vin Diesel plays Groot, and Groot has some of the best dialogue in the whole movie when he says, "I am Groot." That must be one hell of an easy lines for Vin Diesel. Rocket Raccoon, excellent. Gamora, the whole team in a whole is great, and they're hilarious, man. From the first minute of the movie, with Star-Lord dancing and holding like a rat in his hand and singing into the rat, hilarious. Like, it's hard to not like this movie, and it shocked me because I didn't think I was gonna enjoy this movie, and it became like in my top 3 favorite MCU movies of all time, 3 or 4. So yeah, moving on to 2015. There were some good movies in 2015 as well. You have Goosebumps, you have Avengers Age of Ultron, of course. Get Hard, great comedy with Kevin Hart and Will Ferrell. Jurassic World, of course. But my favorite is The Wedding Ringer with Kevin Hart, where he plays a best man for hire. Lonely man, he doesn't have any friends, so he has to hire Kevin Hart to be his best man. Great movie. It's hilarious from beginning to end. Once again, my favorite scene is probably when Kevin Hart finds out that he told his family that he was a priest. It's a funny movie. You wouldn't get it if you didn't see it, but if you haven't watched it, check it out. Be warned, it does have a hell of a lot of cussing in it. But let's move on to 2016. This was another difficult year. You have The Ride Along 2 with Kevin Hart and Ice Cube once again. Great movie, funny. Doctor Strange, great debut of Doctor Strange into the MCU. Captain America Civil War, Iron Man's team versus Captain America's team. Excellent movie from start to finish. And I love that they debuted Spider-Man in it. Central Intelligence, like I said before, The Rock, Kevin Hart, great team. They're hilarious. I really love this movie. But number 1, come on, has to go to Deadpool, man. Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool, excellent. Not including the X-Men Origins version. But Ryan Reynolds plays a great Deadpool. He's hilarious. He keeps talking to the crowd, which is great. Like he keeps breaking the fourth wall, basically. That's what it's called. Great action scenes. Like if you love action and comedy, this is the movie for you. Deadpool 1 was excellent. Deadpool 2 was excellent, and I can't wait for Deadpool 3. But Deadpool 1 is one of my favorite superhero movies of all time also, and it is number 1 in 2016. 2017. Another great year of superhero movies, and a great year for me, and I'll explain in a minute. Number 5, Jumanji. Kevin Hart, The Rock, Jack Black. Come on. 3 of the best comedy actors of all time. Great movie from start to finish. Logan, great superhero movie. Hugh Jackman once again. Well, I want to say great superhero movie. Great movie. Not that great of a superhero movie because not enough action in it for me. It was more dialogue and storytelling, but it was still a great movie overall. Hugh Jackman plays a great Wolverine. Psych the movie. That was the year that Psych came back. I love Psych the movie. The first one, excellent. Psych the show was my favorite show of all time. So when they announced years after the show was canceled, Psych was bringing a movie with the same actors, I was pumped. Number 2, though, I got Spider-Man Homecoming. First movie for Tom Holland, and it impressed. Vulture, great villain. Tom Holland did play a great Spider-Man in it. I was impressed. But number 1 goes to Thor Ragnarok. One of the best movies in the MCU. Hilarious. And they finally gave Thor a character arc. He was boring in his other 2 movies. His other 2 movies sucked. So when Thor Ragnarok came out, it was good, and I was impressed. So I hope they keep it up. But Thor Ragnarok, my number 1 in 2017. 2018. Now, 2018, 2019 were both very, very, very hard years for me because both had excellent movies. 2018 had Game Night and Tag, 2 hilarious comedies. Tag had like a all-star roster in that movie, man. Deadpool 2, of course, great movie. And like I said, I hope they bring a Deadpool 3. Ready Player One, excellent storyline, man. I really love that movie. It's actually one of my favorite movies of the last decade. I love Ready Player One, and that's at number 2. But you all know what's at number 1. Avengers Infinity Wars. Avengers Infinity Wars was the best movie of 2018 by far. Great movie, great action scenes. You have all the Avengers in the MCU build working together. You have the Guardians of the Galaxy. You have the real Avengers, you know, Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Hulk. You have Spider-Man. You have Doctor Strange in this movie, Black Panther. You got everybody in this one movie taking on one unstoppable threat in Thanos. It doesn't get better than that. But it does, because 2019 came out with part 2. But 2019, you have Shazam, great movie. Jumanji, The Next Level, great movie. Spider-Man Far From Home, oh my gosh, great movie. Number 2, I put Joker. Joaquin Phoenix plays a great Joker. He has a great sadistic laugh overall. Fantastic storyline. Number 1, of course, Avengers Endgame. Avengers Infinity Wars left in a cliffhanger. Thanos won. He wiped out half the planet. They all disappeared for 5 years until Avengers Endgame, that is. When in Avengers Endgame, they went back in time and got the stones, snapped their fingers, and brought everyone back. The end fight scene is what really steals this movie, though, when everyone starts returning, and you have the whole slew of Avengers next to each other, with Captain America saying, "Avengers assemble," and you have that huge fight scene, where it ends with Iron Man snapping his fingers and making me cry when Iron Man saves the world again, but he dies. Iron Man is my favorite superhero of all time. Well, Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, that is. And you are missed. You are. Now they're probably going to bring in a variant of Iron Man and Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, and it's going to be like Tom Cruise, but no one will be able to beat Robert Downey Jr. He's my favorite superhero actor of all time. But Avengers Endgame, number 1 in 2019. 2020. there was some good movies in 2020, but none of them screamed like, oh wow, excitement. The Wrong Missy, funny movie. Birds of Prey, it wasn't bad. I love Harley Quinn in that movie. Sonic the Hedgehog, it was funny. It wasn't like 10 out of 10. I'll give it like an 8. Bad Boys for Life, that was it. That one and the next one was great. Bad Boys for Life I really enjoyed. But number one, I'll give to Psych the movie too. I love Psych, and their movie's been great, so I'll give it to them. But none of these movies in 2020 was nearly as good as the movies in 2018, 2019. Just saying. But Psych the movie 2 gets the number one spot in 2020. 2021, you have Spider-Man No Way Home at number one, of course. Venom Let There Be Carnage, a little overrated. It was good. It wasn't great. Black Widow, Suicide Squad, and Godzilla vs. Kong. Of course, like, can't forget Psych the movie 3 in 2021, which was just fantastic. But overall, I will probably, like, of course, I will give it to Spider-Man No Way Home, because Spider-Man No Way Home blows all movies out of the water and is by far the best movie in the last, like, many years. It's my favorite superhero movie of all time. So if, like, it's probably the best movie since like 2016, in my opinion. I might be overrating it a little bit. A lot of you might disagree, but Spider-Man No Way Home to me had great character arc. Tom Holland Spider-Man, it was a great storyline overall, and it was a great build in that movie. You have all the fan service in that movie too. You got Tobey Maguire in it, Andrew Garfield, Alfred Molina's Doc Ock reprising his role, William Dafoe's Green Goblin, the same guy who plays Sandman, I don't know his name, in Spider-Man 3 was in it. Then you even have Venom in the end credits scene. Like, overall, this movie had a great storyline. Aunt May's death was one of the peaks of the movie. I was glad she died, no offense. Spider-Man needed to experience something like that. All the villains in it, Doctor Strange, there was a lot of humor in the movie from beginning to end. J. Jonah Jameson, of course, same guy played J. Jonah Jameson in the original Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire, was in it. Overall, this movie was excellent, and that's why it's the best movie of 2021. But that was my list of the best movies since the year I was born. Of course, 2022 has a lot of movies coming out, like The Batman, and The Flash, and all kinds of movies, Black Adam. But I'm excited for Uncharted is coming out. That's nice too. But I'm most excited for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And I think that's going to be real up there on my superhero movie list. But that was my video on my favorite movies since every year that I was born. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and stay tuned for the next episode. Next week, I'm going to be talking about worst to best Adam Sandler movies in order, and I am excited for that one because Adam Sandler is my favorite comedy actor of all time. But yeah, this was Muscle Talk. Peace.